My billionaire husband Mistress caused my accident and tried to steal my life. What my 7-year-old twins recorded sent her to prison. The microphone felt cold in Maya's hand as she stood on that stage. 500 faces staring up at her in complete silence. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light across the ballroom, reflecting off champagne glasses that had been forgotten mid-sip. Every CEO, every socialite, every power player in their $1,000 suits had stopped breathing the moment the recording ended. Vanessa stood frozen beside Dominic in her blood-red dress, her face drained of all color. Dominic looked like a man watching his entire world collapse in real time. And Maya, she just smiled. Not a cruel smile. Not even a triumphant one. It was the smile of a woman who had already won. But before Maya could say another word, Vanessa's voice cut through the silence, sharp and desperate. Are you insane? That recording is fake. Completely fabricated. She's been unstable for months. Everyone knows that. Tell them, Dominic. Tell them how she's been paranoid, delusional, making up stories. Maya turned to her, and when she spoke, her voice was so calm it was terrifying. Fake? Should I play the one where you told my 7-year-old daughter she'd love having you as her new mommy once I was gone? Or maybe the security footage of you pouring antifreeze into my tea? I have 12 recordings, Vanessa. Surveillance from 4 different cameras. And a toxicology report showing ethylene glycol in my bloodstream. So please keep talking. I want everyone here to see exactly who you are. The room erupted. Gasps, whispers, the frantic clicking of phone cameras. Vanessa lunged forward like she was going to attack Maya, but 2 security guards were already moving toward the stage. Family, let me tell you something about that moment. Maya had every right to scream, to rage, to let years of pain explode all over that ballroom. But she didn't, because she'd already learned the most powerful truth there is. Dignity will always defeat cruelty. Grace will always be more powerful than revenge. And the truth, when it finally comes to light, doesn't need to shout. Now, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted with your whole heart, if you've ever been gaslit into thinking you were crazy when you knew something was wrong, if you've ever had to fight for your life while everyone around you chose to look the other way, then you need to hear this story. You need to hear it all the way to the end. Because what happened on that stage didn't start at a charity gala. It didn't start with poison or embezzlement or attempted murder. It started 10 years earlier with a promise that was never kept. Let me take you back, family. Let me show you how a love story became a nightmare, and how a woman who gave up everything found the strength to take it all back. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to tell you will show you exactly what real strength looks like. And family, I want to know who's with me on this journey. Comment where you're watching from, or just type I'm with you, Mr. Hearthline. Let me know you're here. Maya was 25 years old when she married Dominic Chun. They were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple that made people believe in destiny. She was studying interior design at community college, working part-time at a coffee shop, dreaming of opening her own firm one day. He was brilliant, ambitious, full of ideas about changing the world through technology. They got married in a tiny ceremony at the courthouse, just them and 2 witnesses. Maya wore a white dress she'd found at a thrift store for $35. Dominic wore the only suit he owned. They couldn't afford rings yet, so they exchanged simple silver bands that turned their fingers green within a week. But none of that mattered because they had each other, and they had a plan. Dominic had been accepted into a prestigious business school, full-time, which meant he couldn't work, which meant Maya would have to support them both while he got his MBA. I'll make this up to you, he told her the night before classes started. They were sitting on the floor of their 1-bedroom apartment eating Chinese takeout straight from the containers because they only owned 3 plates. 2 years, Maya. Just 2 years of this struggle, and then when I build something real, when I make it, it'll be our time. Promise. Everything I build will be ours. Maya believed him. Why wouldn't she? He was her person. Her partner. The boy who'd held her hand through her father's funeral. Who'd stayed up all night helping her study for exams. Who'd told her she was going to change the world with her designs one day. So she did what you do when you love someone. She sacrificed. She took on a 2nd job. Then a 3rd. She worked the opening shift at the coffee shop, 5 a.m. to noon, making lattes for people who didn't bother to learn her name. Then she'd go straight to her freelance design work, editing layouts and creating mood boards for clients who paid her barely enough to cover groceries. And 3 nights a week, she bartended at a sports bar downtown, coming home at 2 in the morning smelling like beer and cigarette smoke, her feet aching so badly she could barely walk. Dominic was always asleep when she got home. She'd find him passed out at their tiny kitchen table, laptop still open, surrounded by business textbooks and empty coffee cups. She'd close his computer gently, cover him with a blanket, and crawl into bed alone. The apartment smelled like instant ramen and ambition, like someone's dreams taking up all the oxygen in the room. Maya had dreams too, big ones. In her 2nd year of marriage, she was accepted into a prestigious design fellowship in New York. Full scholarship, mentorship from one of the biggest names in interior architecture, connections that could have launched her career into the stratosphere. It was everything she'd worked for since she was 16 years old, sketching room layouts in the margins of her notebooks. She remembers the day the acceptance letter came. Thick cream-colored envelope, her name in elegant script. She held it in her shaking hands and felt possibility open up in front of her like a doorway. Then she looked at Dominic, exhausted from midterms, stressed about a presentation that could determine his entire academic trajectory. And she thought about their plan, their future, the life they were building together. She turned down the fellowship. "I'll apply again in a few years," she told herself. "When things are more stable, when we're more settled, when it's not so hard." Dominic barely noticed. He was too deep in case studies and networking events and building the foundation of what would eventually become Chen Technologies. Now family, if you've ever put your dreams on hold for someone you loved, type "I see you" in the comments. Because I need you to understand something. Maya didn't do this out of weakness. She did it out of love, out of partnership, out of the bone-deep belief that when you build something together, you both win. She didn't know yet that Dominic had stopped seeing it that way. 2 years became 5. 5 became 8. Dominic graduated top of his class, immediately started his tech company with 2 classmates. Maya was still working her 3 jobs, now funneling money into keeping the startup afloat. They maxed out credit cards, borrowed from her mother, ate pasta 6 nights a week. And then, in their 9th year of marriage, everything changed. Chen Technologies landed a massive contract with a Fortune 500 company. Suddenly there was money, real money. Investors were calling. The company went from 3 guys in a garage to 40 employees in a real office. Dominic's net worth went from negative $50,000 to $5 million almost overnight. "We made it," Maya thought. Finally, it's our time." She quit the coffee shop first, then the bartending gig. She kept the freelance design work because she loved it, because it was the last thread connecting her to the dreams she'd put away. She started imagining what came next. Maybe she'd go back to school. Maybe she'd start her own firm now that they had capital. Maybe she'd finally get to be more than Dominic's wife, more than the woman behind the man. Then she got pregnant. Twins. A boy and a girl. Emma and Liam came into the world 6 weeks early, tiny and perfect and needing everything. Maya's world became feedings every 2 hours, diaper changes, doctor appointments, the particular exhaustion that comes from loving something so much you die for it while also not sleeping more than 90 minutes at a time. Dominic was barely there. The company was expanding. He was flying to San Francisco twice a month, New York every other week, Seoul for a month-long negotiation that turned into 6 weeks. He missed the twins' first steps, missed their first words, missed the night Liam spiked a fever of 104 and Maya sat in the emergency room alone, holding her baby and praying to a God she wasn't sure she believed in. When Dominic came home from trips, he was distracted, distant. He'd pick up the twins for obligatory photos, then hand them back to Maya the second they cried or needed anything real. The company grew. 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. They moved into a house in the hills. 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a pool. A view of the city that looked like scattered diamonds at night. It cost $6.2 million. Maya didn't even get to pick it. Dominic's real estate agent found it. Dominic signed the papers. and Maya showed up to a house that was already fully furnished by a decorator she'd never met. This is it, she told herself, walking through rooms that echoed with emptiness despite being full of expensive furniture. This is what we worked for. This is the dream. But it didn't feel like a dream. It felt like living in a museum. Beautiful and cold and full of things she wasn't allowed to touch. The twins were 3 years old when Maya first noticed Dominic pulling away. Not physically. He was already physically absent most of the time. But emotionally, the rare moments he was home, he looked at her like she was a stranger, like he was trying to remember why he'd married her in the first place. She told herself it was stress. The company was going through another growth phase. He was under enormous pressure. This was temporary. By the time the twins were 5, Dominic had started missing family dinners entirely. He'd text at 6:30, 7, 8 at night. Still at the office. Don't wait up. Order something. Maya would sit at their massive dining table with Emma and Liam, the 3 of them in a room designed to seat 14, eating pizza or Thai food straight from the containers. The kids stopped asking where Daddy was. They just accepted his absence as normal. By the time the twins were 6, Dominic was missing bigger things. Emma's dance recital. The one where she had a solo, where she'd been practicing for 2 months, where she kept asking every single day, "Is Daddy coming? Is Daddy going to watch me?" Maya had promised he would be. She'd asked Dominic 3 times to put it in his calendar. He'd said yes every time. The night of the recital, Emma in her little pink tutu, face shining with excitement, kept looking at the auditorium door, waiting, hoping. Dominic never showed. Maya found out later he'd been at a company dinner. Not even an important one. Just a networking thing he could have skipped. When she confronted him that night, after putting 2 heartbroken kids to bed, he barely looked up from his laptop. "I forgot," he said. Simple as that. Like he'd forgotten to pick up milk. She forgot, "Maya, our daughter was devastated and you forgot." He finally looked at her then, and there was something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Irritation. Like she was bothering him with something trivial. It was one recital, Maya. There'll be others. She's 6. She'll get over it. That was the moment Maya first felt it. The cold certainty settling in her chest. Something had changed. Something fundamental had shifted. And she didn't know if she could shift it back. Now family, if you've ever felt invisible to someone who promised to see you forever, you know this pain. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's the kind of hurt that accumulates like dust, so slowly you don't notice until one day you look around and realize you can't breathe anymore. Their 10th anniversary came on a Tuesday in March. Maya had planned something simple. Just dinner at home after the kids went to bed. She cooked his favorite meal, set the table with candles, wore the dress he'd always said he loved. Dominic didn't come home. By 9 p.m., she texted him. By 10, she called. By 11, she was sitting alone at the table, watching the candles burn down to nothing, the food cold and congealed on the plates. He came home 3 days later. Didn't apologize. Didn't explain. Just walked in like he'd been gone for an afternoon. Not 72 hours. "Where were you?" she asked. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "Singapore. Last-minute investor meeting. Big deal." He didn't even look at her when he said it. Just headed upstairs to shower and change. Maya went to their home office. She didn't even know what she was looking for at first. She just knew something was wrong. The same way you know when you walk into a room that someone's been there. The same way you know when a story doesn't add up. She found the hotel receipt in his laptop bag. Not hidden. Not even attempted to be hidden. Just there. The Ritz-Carlton. Singapore. Presidential suite. 3 nights. But it wasn't the hotel that made her hands start shaking. It was the itemized charges. Room service for 2. Champagne. Roses. A couple's massage. Her husband had spent their 10th anniversary in a luxury hotel suite. With someone else. Maya sat in that office for 2 hours, the receipt in her hands, trying to make sense of it. Trying to find an explanation that didn't shatter everything. There wasn't one. When Dominic came back downstairs, showered and changed, scrolling through his phone, Maya was standing in the kitchen. She put the receipt on the counter between them. He looked at it, looked at her, and he didn't even flinch. "Who is she?" Maya asked. He sighed, like she was being tedious, like she was the problem. "Her name is Vanessa. She's my new VP of Strategic Growth. And before you spiral into some dramatic scene, Maya, I need you to hear something." She waited, part of her still hoping this was a misunderstanding, that he'd explain it away, that there was a reasonable answer. "You've changed. You're not the woman I married. You're comfortable, safe, boring. You remind me of struggle and sacrifice and eating ramen and being nobody. She reminds me of success, of who I've become. Can you understand that?" Maya felt the floor tilt beneath her, felt 10 years of sacrifice, of love, of partnership, of belief in their shared dream, crumble into nothing. "So you're cheating on me," she said, each word carefully placed. "Because I remind you of when you were poor. Don't be reductive. It's more complicated than that." "No, Dominic. It's actually very simple. You made a choice. You chose someone else." He ran his hand through his hair, frustrated, like she was being unreasonable. "I chose someone who doesn't make me feel guilty every time I'm successful. Someone who celebrates what I've built instead of reminding me what it cost." "What it cost?" Maya's voice rose for the first time. "I paid the cost, Dominic. I worked 3 jobs. I gave up New York. I gave up my career. I raised our children alone while you built your empire. And you're telling me I should celebrate while you betray me? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Everything is about what you gave up, what you sacrificed. I'm tired of being your martyr story, Maya." The words hit like a slap. "Get out," she said quietly. "What?" "Get out of this house. Go back to her. Go back to Singapore. Go anywhere. But get out of my sight." Dominic actually laughed, short and bitter. "This is my house, Maya. I paid for it. And we're not doing this. We're not getting divorced. Then end it. End the affair. We'll go to counseling. We'll fix this. But you have to choose." He looked at her for a long moment, and when he spoke, his voice was cold, factual. "I'm not ending it. And we're not getting divorced. Do you have any idea what the prenup says? You'd get half of everything. Half. I'm $80 million over-leveraged right now with the European expansion. I can't afford a divorce. So we're going to make this work. Plenty of couples have arrangements." "Arrangements," Maya repeated, the word like ash in her mouth. "She makes me happy. You're the mother of my children. Both things can be true. I'm not interested in an arrangement, Dominic. I'm interested in a husband." "Then you're going to be disappointed." He said it just like that. Straightforward. Simple. Like he was telling her the restaurant was out of her favorite dish. Then he picked up his keys and left. Went right back to Vanessa's apartment. Left Maya standing in their $6 million house with their children asleep upstairs. Her entire world shattered around her feet. "Family, I need to pause here. Because if you've ever been told you're the problem because someone else chose to betray you, if you've ever been gaslit into believing that your pain is unreasonable, I need you to know something. That is not love. That is not partnership. That is cruelty dressed up as honesty." Maya sat on the floor of her kitchen that night and cried. Not loud, hysterical crying. Just quiet tears that wouldn't stop. 10 years. 3 jobs. A fellowship she'd turned down. Dreams she'd put in a box. Nights alone. Dinners alone. Raising 2 children essentially as a single mother while legally married. And this is what it had been worth to him. Nothing. She didn't know it yet, but that moment saved her life. Because the Maya who would have stayed, who would have accepted the arrangement, who would have kept sacrificing, she wouldn't have survived what came next. 2 days later, on a Thursday afternoon, someone knocked on Maya's door. She'd been sitting on the floor of the twins' playroom, helping Emma build a Lego castle while Liam colored. She wasn't showered, wasn't dressed, had barely eaten. She was just trying to exist, to put one moment in front of the other, to not fall apart in front of her children. The knock came again, insistent. Maya opened the door and there she was. Vanessa Chin, 25 years old. Tall and slim in designer jeans and a silk blouse that probably cost more than Maya's first car. Perfect glossy hair. Perfect makeup. Perfect everything. And she was crying. Maya, I'm so sorry. I know I'm the last person you want to see right now, but I needed to say this to your face. I was wrong. So incredibly wrong. Maya just stared at her. I got swept up in the power, the glamour, the attention. I was a stupid, selfish girl who didn't think about the real people I was hurting. Your beautiful children. I'm ending it. I told Dominic this morning. I'm even leaving the company. I just wanted to apologize to you directly. Woman to woman. You're the real one here. The one with substance and strength and grace. I'm nothing compared to you. Every word sounded rehearsed, performed, but there were real tears on Vanessa's face, real emotion in her voice. Maya's every instinct screamed danger, screamed that this was a performance, screamed not to trust a single word. But she was so tired, so heartbroken, so desperate for this nightmare to just end. I appreciate you coming here, Maya said carefully, but I think you should go. I know. I just needed you to know that I see you. I see what an incredible woman you are. And I'm so sorry. Vanessa turned to leave. Then she paused, looked back. He loves you, you know. He's just lost right now. But he loves you and those babies. I really believe that. Then she was gone. Maya closed the door, leaned against it, and tried to breathe. 20 minutes later, Dominic came home. In the middle of the day. Which never happened. Vanessa told me she came here, he said. That took courage, Maya. Real courage. Maya looked at him, trying to read his face. She told me she ended it, Maya said. She did. This morning. She's leaving the company too. She said she can't be around me professionally. It's too hard. That's how seriously she's taking this. He moved closer to Maya, and for the first time in months, he looked at her like he used to. Like she mattered. I want to fix this, Maya. I want to fix us. But I need you to meet me halfway. What does that mean? She asked. It means we go to therapy. Real therapy. And it means you need to be mature enough to handle the fact that Vanessa works for me. You just said she's leaving. She was going to. But I can't let her. She's too valuable to the company. She's leading the entire European expansion. Losing her would cost us millions. But the affair is over. Completely. I swear to you. He took Maya's hands. But you need to show me that you can handle this like an adult. That you're not going to be hostile and jealous every time her name comes up. Be the bigger person. Be civil. Show me you're still the woman I fell in love with. Strong. Graceful. Mature. Family, let me tell you what this was. This was gaslighting at its absolute finest. This was a man taking his betrayal, his cruelty, his choice to cheat, and putting the burden of fixing it entirely on the woman he'd betrayed. And Maya, exhausted and heartbroken and desperate to believe her family could be saved, agreed. She agreed to therapy, agreed to be civil, agreed to prove herself to the man who'd shattered her trust. She had no idea she'd just let a predator into her home. The therapy started the following week. Dominic had already found the therapist, made the appointments, set the whole thing up. Dr. Patricia Voss. Office in a high-rise downtown. Walls covered in degrees from prestigious universities. A calm voice that made everything sound reasonable. In their third session, Dr. Voss said something that made Maya's stomach drop. I think it might be beneficial to have Vanessa join us for a session. Just one. The affair has ended, but she's still a presence in your lives through work. Bringing her into the space, allowing everyone to speak truth, to clear the air, it could be part of the healing process. Radical honesty. Facing the source of pain rather than avoiding it. Maya looked at Dominic. He was nodding. I think that could be really healthy, he said. Maya wanted to scream, wanted to walk out. But Dr. Voss was looking at her with such calm certainty. And Dominic was looking at her with such hope. And she was so tired of fighting. Okay, she heard herself say. Okay. Vanessa came to the next session. She sat in the chair across from Maya and Dominic, hands folded in her lap, looking small and repentant. I just want to say again how sorry I am, Vanessa said, looking directly at Maya. I crossed lines I should never have crossed. I hurt people I should have protected. I'm working on myself, trying to understand why I made such destructive choices. And I'm committed to respecting your marriage and your family. It sounded perfect. It sounded sincere. But Maya watched Vanessa's eyes. And just for a second, just a flash. When Vanessa looked at Dominic, there was something else there. Something hungry. Something that hadn't ended at all. The session ended with everyone hugging. Maya felt Vanessa's arms around her. Felt her whisper, "You're amazing. Thank you for your grace." And Maya felt cold all the way to her bones. Over the next month, something strange started happening. Vanessa was everywhere. She was at the company events Maya was expected to attend as Dominic's wife. Always professional. Always appropriate. Always making a point to compliment Maya's dress, her hair, her presence. She showed up at the twin school STEM fair. Dominic explained she was there representing the company. They were sponsoring the program. She sent gifts to the house. A beautiful orchid arrangement for Maya. Expensive Lego sets for the twins. Top-of-the-line noise-canceling headphones for the family, for all those business trips. And slowly, carefully, she started dressing like Maya. Not obviously. Not in a way anyone else would notice. But Maya noticed. The low bun with soft waves framing the face. That was Maya's signature style. Vanessa had always worn her hair straight and down. Now it was up. Just like Maya's. The perfume. Maya had worn Chanel No. 5 since college. Classic. Timeless. Her scent. And one day, at a company gala, Vanessa walked past and Maya smelled it. Her perfume. On someone else. The outfits. Maya had worn a navy off-the-shoulder dress to a gala 6 months ago. The photos were on the company website. And Vanessa showed up to the next event in something eerily similar. Different designer. Different details. But the same silhouette. The same color. The same feeling. Maya mentioned it to Dominic once. "I think Vanessa is copying me." He looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "Copying you how?" "Her hair. Her perfume. The dress she wore to the gala looked just like mine from last year." Dominic actually laughed. "Maya, you don't own a hairstyle. Chanel No. 5 is one of the most popular perfumes in the world. And a navy dress? Seriously? You think she's copying you because she wore a navy dress?" "Forget it," Maya said quietly. "No, let's not forget it. This is exactly what Dr. Voss warned about. You're looking for reasons to villainize her because you can't let go of the past. She's apologized. She's been nothing but respectful. And you're inventing conspiracy theories." "I'm not inventing anything." "Then you're being paranoid. Either way, it needs to stop." Maya stopped mentioning it. But she kept noticing. The pet names. Maya had always called Dominic my anchor when she was feeling sentimental. It was her thing. Specific. Personal. And one day, Maya overheard Vanessa on a work call with Dominic, laughing about something, saying, "That's why you're the anchor of this whole operation." Maya felt sick. The twins noticed too. Especially Emma. "Mommy, I don't like Miss Vanessa," Emma said one night at bedtime. She'd been quiet all evening, unusual for her normally chattering daughter. "Why, baby?" "She's pretending." "Pretending what?" Emma struggled to find the words. "She's 7 years old. She doesn't have the vocabulary for what she's sensing. She smiles weird, like she's practicing in a mirror. And she asks too many questions." "What kind of questions?" "About you. About where you keep your papers. About what perfume you wear. About Daddy's favorite things. It's weird." Liam, quieter as always, added his own observation. "She stares at our stuff. At the house. Like she's memorizing it." Maya felt that cold certainty again. Something was very wrong. But every time she tried to voice it, she was shot down. By Dominic. By Dr. Voss. Even by her own mother, who said, "Maybe you're seeing things that aren't there because you're hurt. Maybe you need to give this healing process time." So Maya tried to push the feeling down. Tried to focus on her kids, on rebuilding her marriage, on being the graceful, mature woman everyone seemed to need her to be. And that's when Vanessa brought the tea. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Maya was home with the twins, helping with homework at the kitchen table. The doorbell rang. Vanessa stood there with a beautiful gift basket. Organic wellness teas. Local honey. A gorgeous ceramic mug with delicate hand-painted flowers. I saw this at the farmer's market and thought of you, Vanessa said, that perfect warm smile on her face. You've been so graceful through everything. You're honestly an inspiration to me. I just wanted you to know I see that. Maya took the basket. What else could she do? Thank you. That's very thoughtful. The chrysanthemum blend is supposed to be great for stress. And the chamomile lavender one is perfect before bed. Just small ways to take care of yourself. You deserve it. Vanessa left. Maya brought the basket inside. That night, after the twins were in bed, after another silent dinner with Dominic barely looking up from his phone, Maya made herself a cup of the chrysanthemum tea. Smelled lovely, floral and delicate, tasted sweet, soothing. Within an hour, she felt nauseous, dizzy. She assumed it was stress, exhaustion, the emotional toll of the last few months. She went to bed early. The next week, there was a family therapy dinner. Dr. Voss had suggested these. Once a week, Dominic and Maya and sometimes Vanessa would have dinner together at the house. Structured time to practice healthy communication and rebuild trust. Maya hated them, but she participated, trying to be mature, trying to prove she could handle this. Vanessa always offered to help clean up, always offered to make tea afterward. The special blend she'd brought. For everyone, Maya would drink it, and every single time within an hour, she'd feel sick. This happened for 3 weeks. By week 4, Maya had lost 6 pounds. She was exhausted all the time, dizzy, confused, having trouble concentrating. She went to her doctor. They ran tests. Everything came back normal. It's probably stress, the doctor said. Anxiety. Have you considered increasing your therapy sessions? Maya nodded, accepted the suggestion, tried to believe that was all it was, but she kept getting sicker. By week 6, she could barely get out of bed some mornings. The twins would come into her room worried. Mommy, are you okay? Just tired, baby. Mommy's just tired. But she wasn't just tired. She was nauseous constantly, dizzy. Her hands shook. She had headaches that felt like her skull was splitting open. Dominic was getting annoyed. You're always sick, Maya. Always tired. This is exactly what I've been saying. You've given up on yourself. You don't exercise anymore. You barely eat. You're letting yourself fall apart. I'm not letting anything happen, she said weakly. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong. What's wrong is that you're depressed and you won't admit it. Maybe you need medication. Talk to Dr. Voss. Family, what Maya didn't know, what she couldn't have known, is that Vanessa was poisoning her. Ethylene glycol. Antifreeze. You can buy it at any auto parts store. It has a sweet taste that's easy to hide in tea or honey. In small doses, it causes symptoms that look exactly like the flu. Nausea, dizziness, confusion, weakness. In large doses, it shuts down your kidneys and kills you. Vanessa was patient. She wasn't trying to kill Maya quickly. She was trying to make her sick, weak, unreliable, make her look unstable, make everyone question her judgment. And it was working. While Maya was getting sicker and sicker, Vanessa was doing something else. She was stealing from Dominic's company, and she was framing Maya for it. Small amounts at first. $10,000 here, $15,000 there. Carefully moved through shell accounts, but not kept. Routed through an old business account Maya had set up years ago, before the twins were born, before she'd given up her design dreams. Chun Interiors, an LLC that had never gotten off the ground, that Maya had forgotten even existed. Vanessa had found the paperwork in Maya's home office, had found Maya's old signature stamp, had found a checkbook from that account that Maya hadn't touched in 8 years. And she was building a paper trail. Bank statements, forged signatures, email accounts that looked like Maya's. A pattern showing that Maya Chun had been systematically embezzling from her husband's company for over a year. The plan was perfect. Once the annual audit came through, the discrepancies would be found. The trail would lead straight to Maya. She'd be arrested for fraud and embezzlement. She'd lose custody of the twins, go to prison, and Vanessa would step in, the supportive colleague, the woman who'd helped Dominic through this nightmare. The woman who'd become a mother figure to those poor children whose real mother was a criminal. She'd have everything. The house, the money, the status, the kids, the life. She'd become Maya. Or rather, she'd replace her. But Vanessa was impatient. The audit wasn't for another 8 weeks. And 8 weeks felt like forever when you wanted something this badly. So she decided to speed things up. She decided to kill Maya. It was a Thursday morning. Maya was making breakfast for the twins. Scrambled eggs and toast. Emma was chattering about a project at school. Liam was reading a book at the table. Maya felt the dizziness hit hard. Harder than usual. The room tilted. Her vision blurred. She reached for the counter to steady herself. "Mommy," Emma said, her voice suddenly scared. Maya tried to answer. Tried to say, "I'm okay, baby." But the words wouldn't come. Her legs gave out. She felt herself falling. Felt the cold tile of the kitchen floor against her face. Emma was screaming. Liam was crying. The last thing Maya heard before everything went dark was her daughter's voice on the phone. Shaking but clear. "My mommy fell down and she won't wake up. Please help. Please." Maya woke up in a hospital bed. White walls. Beeping machines. And 4 in her arm. Her mother sitting beside the bed. Holding her hand. Eyes red from crying. "You're okay," her mother said. "You're okay, baby. You're at St. Mary's. You collapsed." Emma called 911. "Where are the twins?" Maya tried to sit up. "They're fine. They're with Dominic's assistant." "Don't move, honey. You need to rest." A doctor came in. Young. Efficient. Concerned. "Mrs. Chun, you gave everyone quite a scare. Your blood pressure dropped dangerously low. You were severely dehydrated. Malnourished. We're running a full panel of tests to try to figure out what's going on. Have you been sick? Any chronic conditions we should know about?" "No, I don't know. I've just been feeling off for weeks. Tired. Nauseous." The doctor made notes. "Well, stay here for observation. We'll get to the bottom of this." But they didn't. 3 days of tests. Everything came back normal. Or normal enough. Slightly elevated liver enzymes. Some unexplained inflammation markers. But nothing definitive. "It's likely stress-related," the doctor finally said. "Anxiety can manifest physically in very real ways. I'm recommending you see a therapist and consider medication for anxiety and depression." Maya wanted to scream, but she was too weak. Too exhausted. She was released after a week. Weak. Shaky. Barely able to walk without help. Her mother drove her home. And when they pulled up to the house, Vanessa's car was in the driveway. Maya felt ice flood her veins. "Why is she here?" Maya asked. Her mother looked uncomfortable. "Dominic said he needed help with the twins while you were in the hospital. I guess she's been staying in the guest house." "What?" Maya got out of the car on shaking legs and walked into her house. Her mother helped her up the front steps. The twins came running. Threw themselves at her. "Mommy, you're home. We missed you so much." Maya held them tight. Feeling how fragile she was. How breakable. And then Vanessa appeared from the kitchen. Wearing jeans and a soft sweater. Looking domestic. Comfortable. Like she belonged there. "Maya, I'm so glad you're okay. We were so worried. I've just been helping out with the kids. Making sure they got to school. Keeping things running." Maya stared at her. At this woman in her kitchen. In her home. "Where's Dominic?" Maya asked. "Office. He had a board meeting he couldn't miss. But he'll be home for dinner." Maya's mother was already helping her upstairs. "Maya, you need to rest." Maya let herself be led to her bedroom. Let her mother help her into bed. But through the window she could see the guest house. Could see Vanessa's things visible through the window. "She's living here," Maya said. It wasn't a question. "Just temporarily," her mother said. But she didn't sound convinced. That night, Dominic came home. Came into the bedroom where Maya was lying down. Still too weak to do much else. "You're home," he said. "Good. How are you feeling?" "Why is she living here, Dominic?" He sighed. That same frustrated sigh. Like Maya was being difficult. "You were in the hospital. I had a company to run. The twins needed care. She offered to help. So you moved your mistress into our home." "Ex-mistress." That affair ended months ago. And she's in the guest house, not the main house. It's temporary. Just until you're back on your feet. I want her gone. Don't be unreasonable, Maya. You can barely stand. You need help. She's helping. Then hire a nanny. Not her. Anyone but her. Dominic's voice went cold. Unless you want to admit you can't handle this family. She stays. Just for a few weeks. Until you're better. Then we'll reassess. He left the room. Went back downstairs. Probably back to his office. Maya lay in bed and stared at the ceiling and felt the trap closing around her. She had a woman who was trying to replace her living in her home. She was too sick to fight. Too weak to protect her children. And her husband was choosing this. Choosing her. Over and over again. But something started to shift in Maya's mind. Something cold and clear. She started to notice things. She only felt this sick at home. At the hospital, once they'd stopped giving her certain medications and she was just on saline and rest, she'd started feeling slightly better. And here at her mother's house last month, when she'd stayed over after a particularly bad episode, she'd felt better after 2 days. But at home, she got sicker. She started paying attention to what she ate and drank. And she realized, every time she drank the tea, the special tea Vanessa had brought, she felt worse. Every family therapy dinner, when Vanessa made tea for everyone, Maya would feel sick within an hour. The gift basket, the wellness tea, the concern. It wasn't kindness. It was poison. Maya felt everything click into place. Then she noticed something else. Small things missing from her office. Documents. An old signature stamp. A checkbook from her defunct business account that she hadn't touched in years. She found a receipt in the bathroom trash. Crumpled. From a company she didn't recognize. But when she Googled it later on her phone, it came up as a shell corporation. Financial services. Pieces clicking together. And then Liam said something that confirmed everything. He came into her room one afternoon. Vanessa was downstairs with Emma. Dominic was at work. Liam climbed onto the bed beside Maya. Mommy, are you going to die? No, baby. Why would you ask that? Because I heard Miss Vanessa tell Daddy that you're really sick and might not get better. She said she's worried about us. About what happens to me and Emma if you don't get better. Maya felt rage flood through her. When did she say that? Last week. When you were in the hospital. I was supposed to be asleep, but I came downstairs for water and I heard them talking. What else did she say? That she could help. That she'd make sure we were okay. That we'd be safe with her. Maya held her son close. Baby, Mommy is going to be fine. Promise. But I need you to do something for me. I need you and Emma to be very careful around Miss Vanessa. Don't eat or drink anything she gives you unless Daddy or I are there. Okay. Liam nodded, eyes wide. Is she bad, Mommy? Maya chose her words carefully. I think she might be trying to hurt Mommy. So we have to be smart. And brave. Can you do that? Liam nodded again. That night, after everyone was asleep, Maya made a decision. She was going to find out exactly what Vanessa was doing. She was going to get proof. And she was going to end this. She needed help. The next morning, while Vanessa was out taking the twins to school, Maya called a number she'd found online. She made a phone call to a private investigator. A man named Marcus Rivers, former FBI, specialized in corporate fraud and domestic cases. Discreet, thorough, expensive. I need help, Maya said when he answered. I think someone is trying to kill me. Marcus Rivers showed up at Maya's house 3 days after she called him. He came in the afternoon, when Vanessa was out running errands and Dominic was at the office. He drove a plain gray sedan, wore a simple button-down shirt and jeans. Nothing about him screamed private investigator. He looked like someone's uncle. Kind eyes. Steady presence. The kind of person you'd trust instinctively. Maya let him in through the side door, not wanting any neighbors to notice. Her mother had taken the twins to the park. They had 2 hours. She sat across from him in her living room and told him everything. The affair. The fake apology. Vanessa inserting herself into their lives. The therapy sessions. The gifts. The tea. Getting sicker and sicker. The collapse. The hospital stay. Vanessa moving into the guest house. The missing documents from her office. The receipt she'd found. Liam's overheard conversation. Marcus listened without interrupting. Took notes on a small tablet. His expression never changed. Just calm. Professional. Present. When Maya finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Mrs. Chun, I'm going to be direct with you. What you're describing sounds like 3 separate crimes. Attempted murder through poisoning, embezzlement and fraud, and potentially identity theft. These are serious felonies. If we can prove even one of them, this woman goes to prison for a long time." Maya felt relief flood through her. Someone believed her. Someone wasn't telling her she was paranoid or stressed or imagining things. "What do you need from me?" she asked. "First, I need you to get a private blood test. Not through your regular doctor. I have a contact, a toxicologist who does work for law enforcement. We need to see if there's any poison in your system. Based on your symptoms and the timeline, my guess is ethylene glycol. Antifreeze. The sweet tasting, easy to hide in tea or food, and causes exactly the symptoms you're describing." Maya felt sick. Antifreeze. She'd been drinking antifreeze. "Second," Marcus continued, "I need permission to install surveillance in your home. Cameras. Audio. I know it feels invasive, but if she's doing what you think she's doing, we'll catch it on tape. That's evidence that holds up in court. Do it," Maya said immediately. "Whatever you need. Third, I'm going to start looking into the financial angle. You said documents are missing from your office. I'm going to need access to your old business accounts. Bank statements. Anything related to that LLC you set up years ago. If she's setting you up for embezzlement, there'll be a trail. And I'll find it. Anything else?" "Yes. You can't let her know you suspect anything. You have to keep drinking the tea she gives you. But don't actually drink it. Pour it out when she's not looking. Pretend to be sick still. Pretend to be weak. Let her think her plan is working." Maya nodded. "I can do that. And Mrs. Chun," Marcus said, his voice gentle, "I need you to prepare yourself for what we might find. If I'm right and she's doing all of this, then your husband has been willfully blind at best. Complicit at worst. Are you ready for that?" Maya looked at him steadily. "I stopped being his wife the moment he chose her over me. I'm not trying to save my marriage anymore, Mr. Rivers. I'm trying to save my life. And my children." Marcus smiled. "Small. Proving. Then let's get to work." Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus moved like a ghost through Maya's life. He installed micro cameras in 5 locations. The kitchen, Maya's office, the living room, the hallway outside the master bedroom, and one in the guest house, angled toward the window so they could see when Vanessa was coming and going. He installed audio recording devices in 3 locations. The kitchen, the master bedroom, and Maya's office. Everything was wireless. Everything fed to a secure server only Marcus could access. Everything was legal because it was Maya's home and she'd given permission. Then he sent Maya to his toxicologist contact, Dr. Sarah Mendez, a quiet woman in her 50s who ran an independent lab in the medical district. Dr. Mendez drew Maya's blood, ran a full toxicology panel, called Marcus 3 days later. Maya was in her bedroom when Marcus called her back. "We've got her," he said. "Your blood shows elevated levels of ethylene glycol. Not enough to kill you, but enough to make you very sick over time. This is consistent with slow, repeated poisoning over several weeks. Dr. Mendez is writing up an official report. This is evidence, Mrs. Chun. Hard evidence." Maya closed her eyes. Part of her had still hoped she was wrong, that she was being paranoid, that this nightmare had some other explanation. But no, Vanessa had been poisoning her. Actually poisoning her. "What about the financial stuff?" Maya asked. "That's where it gets worse," Marcus said. "I've been digging into your old LLC. Chun Interiors. Someone has been moving money through that account. A lot of money. Over $2 million in the last 8 months. Routed from your husband's company through a series of shell corporations and then into your old business account. Then moved again to offshore accounts. But I didn't do that," Maya said. "I haven't touched that account in 8 years. I know. Because the signatures on the transfer documents are forged. They're good forgeries, I'll give her that. But they're not perfect. I've also found emails. Sent from an account that looks like yours but isn't. Communications with the shell corporations. Instructions for transfers. All of it designed to look like you've been systematically stealing from your husband's company. Oh my God. There's an audit scheduled for 6 weeks from now. When the auditors find these discrepancies, all roads are going to lead to you. You'd be arrested. Charged with embezzlement and fraud. You'd lose custody of your kids. Probably go to prison for 10 to 15 years. But we can prove it wasn't me, right? We can. But here's the thing, Mrs. Chun. If we go to the police right now, yes, we can probably prove you didn't do it. But Vanessa is smart. She'll have lawyers. She'll claim she was set up. She'll throw doubt on everything. And your husband, he has power and money and connections. This could get very messy very fast. So what do? We wait. We gather more evidence. We catch her in the act. On camera. Admitting what she's doing. And then we don't just prove you're innocent. We prove she's guilty. Unquestionably. Publicly. So there's no wiggle room. No expensive lawyers getting her off on technicalities. Maya understood. You want a confession. I want everything. Confession. Video evidence. Financial forensics. The whole package. So when we take her down, she stays down. How long will that take? Could be a week. Could be a month. She's living in your guest house. She's comfortable. She thinks she's winning. Comfortable people get sloppy. And when she does, we'll be watching. Marcus was right. Took 11 days. In those 11 days, the cameras caught Vanessa doing things that made Maya's skin crawl. Day 3. 2 a.m. Vanessa let herself into the main house using a key she'd apparently copied. She went straight to Maya's office. Spent 40 minutes going through files, photographing documents with her phone, taking Maya's old signature stamp. Day 5. Vanessa went into the master bedroom while Dominic was traveling and Maya was asleep in the guest room downstairs because she was too weak to climb stairs. The camera caught Vanessa trying on Maya's jewelry, her wedding ring, her grandmother's pearl necklace, standing in front of the mirror, touching her own face, smiling. Day 7. Vanessa stood in the twins' playroom, picking up their toys, their artwork. She whispered to herself, too quiet for the audio to catch clearly. But Marcus enhanced it later. She was saying, my children, my beautiful children. Soon. Day 9. The kitchen camera caught the smoking gun. Maya was sitting at the kitchen table. Weak, pale, barely holding herself together. This was part of the act. She was pretending to still be sick even though she'd stopped drinking the poison tea. Vanessa came in, all concern and sweetness. You look exhausted, Maya. Let me make you some tea. The chamomile blend. It'll help you rest. Maya watched as Vanessa filled the kettle. Got out the mug, the tea bag, the honey. And then, with her back to Maya, Vanessa reached into her purse, pulled out a small glass vial, clear liquid inside, and poured approximately 1 tablespoon into the mug. The camera caught everything. The vial, the pour, Vanessa stirring it in, her face, calm and focused. She brought the mug to Maya. Here you go. Drink it while it's hot. You need to keep your strength up. Maya took the mug, waited until Vanessa left the room, then poured it down the sink. But the camera had caught it all. Marcus called Maya that night. His voice was tight with controlled anger. We have her. Attempted murder. On camera. Clear as day. We could have her arrested tomorrow. But Maya said, not yet. I want more. I want to know everything she's planning. And I want it public. Mrs. Chun, if we wait and she tries to poison you again, if something goes wrong, I'll be careful. But Mr. Rivers, she's not just trying to kill me. She's trying to steal my entire life. My kids. My home. My husband. Everything. I don't want her arrested quietly. I want everyone to see what she is. I want my husband to see what he brought into our lives. What he chose over his family. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, all right, but we move fast. And you don't take any more risks. Deal? Deal. 3 days later, Emma gave Maya the final piece of the puzzle. Emma had been watching a detective show, one of those kid-friendly mystery cartoons, and she'd gotten an idea. She took her iPad, the one she used for school and games and drawing, and she hid it in the living room, propped up behind some books on a shelf, camera facing out, recording. She did this without telling Maya. She was 7 years old, but she was smart, and she loved her mother, and she knew something was very wrong with Miss Vanessa. The iPad recorded for 2 hours before the battery died. Emma retrieved it that night, watched the footage in her room with her brother. Then she came to Maya, tears streaming down her face, iPad in her shaking hands. "Mommy, I recorded Miss Vanessa. I think you need to see this." Maya took the iPad. Emma climbed into her lap. Liam sat beside them. Maya pressed play. The video showed the living room, empty at first. Then Vanessa walked in. She thought she was alone. Dominic was at work. Maya was supposedly napping upstairs. The twins were in the backyard with Maya's mother. Vanessa walked slowly around the living room, touching things. The throw pillows, the coffee table books, the framed photos of Maya and Dominic on their wedding day. She picked up that photo, stared at it. Then she whispered to it, spoke to Maya's image like Maya could hear her. "You're so pathetic. Clinging to a man who doesn't love you anymore. Playing the martyr, the devoted wife, the perfect mother. It's embarrassing. You're a relic, a reminder of who he used to be. And he hates that. He hates you." Vanessa put the photo down, picked up one of the twins' school portraits. "These beautiful babies. They're going to be mine soon. They don't need you. They need someone strong. Someone who can give them the life they deserve. Someone who matches their father's success. That's me, not you." She walked toward the camera, not realizing it was there. Started looking through Maya's mail on the side table. She found a letter from Maya's lawyer. Divorce paperwork Maya had started but not filed yet. Vanessa smiled. "Divorce? Oh honey, you're not going to live long enough to divorce him. Another month of the tea and your kidneys will start failing. The doctors will call it a tragic illness. Stress-induced organ failure. So sad. So young. And I'll be right there to comfort Dominic. To help with the children. To step into the void you leave behind." She touched the divorce papers like they were precious. "But just in case you somehow survive, I've made sure you'll be arrested for embezzling. Either way, you're gone. Dead or in prison. Doesn't matter to me. The result is the same. I win. I get everything." Then Vanessa walked to the mirror on the wall, stared at herself, and said something that made Maya's blood run cold. "You'll love having me as your new mommy. I'll be so much better than her. Prettier. Younger. Successful. Everything she's not. You won't even remember her after a while. She'll just be that sad woman who couldn't handle daddy's success." Vanessa was practicing, rehearsing what she'd say to the twins. The video ended. Emma was sobbing. Liam was pale and silent. Maya held her children, felt rage unlike anything she'd ever experienced. This woman had tried to kill her, had poisoned her, had framed her for a crime, and was planning to replace her with her own children. Not anymore. Maya called Marcus immediately. "I'm ready. I want to take her down. Publicly. Completely. No mercy. Tell me what you need." Marcus laid out the plan. There was a charity gala in 2 weeks. The annual Chun Technologies Gala. The biggest event of the year for Dominic's company. 500 guests. Press. Cameras. Everyone who mattered in the tech and business world. Dominic would be giving a speech. He always did. About the company's success and future vision and gratitude. "That's where we do it," Marcus said. "That's where you play every recording. Every piece of evidence. In front of everyone. But first, we need to set the trap. We need Vanessa to think she's won. To get her so comfortable she doesn't see it coming." "How do we do that?" Maya asked. "You break," Marcus said simply. "You give up. You tell Dominic you can't do this anymore. That you're signing over custody. That you're leaving. Let Vanessa think her plan worked. That you're defeated. Can you do that? Can you pretend to be broken when you're really gathering your strength?" Maya looked at her children. At Emma's tear-stained face. At Liam's quiet determination. Yes, she said. I can do that. The next morning, Maya asked Dominic to talk. Just the two of them. In his office at home. He looked surprised. She'd barely spoken to him in weeks beyond necessary logistics about the kids. They sat across from each other. Maya looked exhausted. Defeated. It wasn't hard to fake. Part of her really was exhausted. I can't do this anymore, she said quietly. Do what? This. The marriage. The fighting. Pretending everything is okay when it's not. I'm tired, Dominic. I'm so tired. He looked almost relieved. So what are you saying? I'm saying I'll sign whatever you want me to sign. Custody. Divorce settlement. Whatever. I just want peace. I want to take what's left of my life and start over somewhere else. You'd leave the twins? Maya forced tears. It wasn't hard. They came easily. I can't be the mother they need right now. I'm too sick. Too weak. Maybe some visitation. But primary custody, that should be with you. You can provide for them in ways I can't. This was the hardest lie Maya had ever told. Every cell in her body screamed against it. But she had to sell it. Had to make him believe it. Dominic leaned back in his chair, studying her. What brought this on? I saw a lawyer last week. He explained what a custody fight would look like. How ugly. How expensive. How traumatizing for Emma and Liam. And I thought, what am I fighting for? A man who doesn't love me? A marriage that's been over for years? Why am I putting everyone through this? She wiped her eyes. You were right, Dominic. I've changed. I'm not the woman you married. And that's okay. People grow apart. I just want to do this with as much grace as possible. For the kids. Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I think that's very mature of you, Maya. Really. I know this isn't easy. It's not. But it's right. I'll have my lawyers draw up papers. We'll make it fair. Maya nodded. Stood to leave. One more thing, she said. The gala next week. I won't be there. I can't. It's too hard. You should take Vanessa. She's been so helpful with everything. She deserves to be recognized for that. She saw his face change. Surprise. Then something else. Anticipation. Are you sure? I'm sure. I'll stay home with the kids. You two represent the company. It makes sense. Okay. If you're really okay with that. I am. Maya left the office. Went upstairs. Closed her bedroom door. And allowed herself one moment of shaking rage before she pulled herself together. Vanessa had been listening. Of course she had. She'd been in the guest house. But Maya knew she had ways of hearing things. Maybe she'd bugged the house herself. Maybe Dominic told her immediately. Either way, within an hour, Vanessa showed up at Maya's bedroom door. Maya, I heard. I'm so sorry. This must be incredibly difficult for you. Maya looked at her. This woman who'd poisoned her. Who'd tried to steal everything. And she smiled weakly. It is. But it's the right thing. For everyone. You're being so strong. So graceful. I really admire that. Thank you, Vanessa. And thank you for everything you've done for the kids. They're really comfortable with you. That makes this easier. Vanessa's eyes lit up. Just for a second. Triumph. They're amazing children. It's been my pleasure. After Vanessa left, Maya texted Marcus. She bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Good. Now we prepare for the gala. This is going to be a night no one forgets. The week before the gala, Marcus worked around the clock. He compiled every piece of evidence into a presentation. Video footage, audio recordings, financial forensics, the toxicology report, Emma's iPad video, everything. He coordinated with his contacts, a federal agent who specialized in white-collar crime, Maya's divorce attorney, a journalist from a major business publication who'd been wanting to write about corruption in tech startups. And he helped Maya prepare. They rehearsed what she'd say, how she'd present the evidence, what to do if Vanessa tried to run or Dominic tried to stop her. You're going to walk into a room full of people who think you're weak, Marcus told her. People who've been watching your husband parade his mistress around. People who probably pity you or judge you or think you're pathetic for staying. And you're going to show them exactly who you are. You're going to take your power back in front of everyone. Can I ask you something, Maya said. Why are you helping me like this? I'm paying you, yes. But this feels personal for you. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, my sister. 10 years ago, her husband had an affair, gaslit her, made her think she was crazy, took everything in the divorce because he had better lawyers. She never recovered. She believed what he said about her, that she was worthless, unlovable. She died 3 years ago, overdose, ruled accidental. But I know it wasn't. His voice was steady but his eyes were hard. So yeah, Mrs. Chun, it's personal. I couldn't save my sister, but I can help you, and I'm gonna make damn sure you win. Maya reached across the table, squeezed his hand. Thank you, she whispered. 2 days before the gala, Maya did something she hadn't done in months. She went shopping. Not to the usual boutiques where the salespeople knew her as Dominic Chen's wife. She went to a small designer she'd discovered years ago, a woman who made custom pieces for women who wanted to feel powerful. She tried on 6 dresses, chose the emerald green silk. Simple, elegant, stunning. It fit like it had been made for her body, made her look strong and beautiful and absolutely in control. She got her hair done, her nails, a facial, slowly put herself back together. The twins watched her get ready the night before the gala. Mommy, you look like a princess, Emma said. Not a princess, baby. A queen. Are you going to be okay tomorrow? Liam asked quietly. Maya knelt down, looked both her children in the eyes. Tomorrow, Mommy is going to make sure we're all safe. Forever. No more Miss Vanessa. No more being scared. Promise. Emma hugged her tight. Be brave, Mommy. You too, baby. You were so brave with that recording. You saved us. You know that? Emma nodded against her shoulder. The night of the gala, Maya told everyone she wasn't feeling well, that she was staying home. Dominic barely acknowledged it. He was too busy getting ready, making sure everything was perfect for his big night. Vanessa came to the main house in her gala dress. Blood red, low cut, diamonds dripping from her neck and ears. Some of them looked familiar. Maya realized with a jolt that they were hers. Vanessa had stolen her jewelry. Maya said nothing. You look beautiful, Maya told her. Vanessa smiled. So do you. Resting at home suits you. The insult was barely veiled. Dominic and Vanessa left in his car. Maya watched them drive away. Then she turned to her mother, who was staying with the twins. I'll be back in a few hours. Keep your phone on. Where are you going? Her mother asked. Maya smiled. To take my life back. She got into Marcus's car. He was waiting at the end of the street. In the back seat was her attorney, Sarah Kim. In the passenger seat was federal agent William Torres. And following behind in another car was the journalist, Rachel Chun. No relation, but Maya liked the coincidence. You ready? Marcus asked. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. They drove to the grand ballroom. The gala was already in full swing. Maya and her team waited in a service entrance, watching the live stream on Marcus's tablet, waiting for the right moment. Inside, Dominic was giving his speech. Maya watched him on the screen, talking about vision and innovation and gratitude. Vanessa stood beside him on stage, smiling like she belonged there. The rage Maya felt was cold, clarifying. He's wrapping up, Marcus said. When he finishes and they start the applause, that's when you walk in. Use the side entrance. Straight to the stage. I'll be right behind you. Maya nodded, smoothed her dress, took a deep breath. The crowd inside began to applaud. Dominic was smiling. Vanessa was beaming. Now, Marcus said. Maya walked through the side entrance into the ballroom. 500 people in evening wear. Champagne. Chandeliers. Money and power filling every corner. She walked down the center aisle. Heads started to turn. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Maya-chan, I thought she wasn't coming. Is that really her? She looks incredible. What's she doing? Maya reached the stage, climbed the steps. The applause had died down to confused silence. Dominic stared at her. Maya, what are you doing here? Vanessa's face went white. Maya walked to the microphone. Dominic stepped aside, too shocked to stop her. The entire ballroom was silent. "Good evening," Maya said. Her voice was clear, strong. "I apologize for the interruption, but I need just a few minutes of your time. My husband was just talking about integrity and vision, about building something meaningful. I'd like to show you what those words really mean." She nodded to Marcus, who was setting up a laptop connected to the venue's projection system. The giant screens on either side of the stage flickered to life. "What are you doing?" Dominic hissed. "Showing everyone the truth." Maya turned to the audience. "For those who don't know me, I'm Maya Chun, Dominic's wife of 10 years, mother of his children, and for the last 3 months, I've been systematically poisoned by the woman standing next to him." The crowd erupted in gasps and whispers. Vanessa lunged forward. "That's insane. She's been unstable for months. Everyone knows that. This is slander. Tell them, Dominic. Tell them she's lying." Maya pressed play on the first video. The kitchen camera footage. Clear as day. Vanessa pouring the clear liquid from the vial into Maya's tea. Stirring it. Bringing it to Maya with a smile. The room went completely silent. "That's antifreeze," Maya said calmly. "Ethylene glycol. I have a toxicology report from an independent lab showing elevated levels in my bloodstream. This video is dated October 14th. There are 6 more videos just like it from the weeks prior. She's been poisoning me slowly, trying to make me sick enough to either die or look unstable enough to lose custody of my children." She pressed play on the next video. Vanessa in the master bedroom, trying on Maya's wedding ring, lying in Maya's bed, whispering, "Soon. Soon this will all be mine." Then the audio recording. Vanessa admitting to the embezzlement scheme, explaining how she'd framed Maya, how the audit would find the money trail and Maya would be arrested. Then Emma's iPad video. The entire ballroom watched as Vanessa, thinking she was alone, admitted to poisoning Maya, admitted to framing her for embezzlement, practiced telling the twins they'd love having her as their new mommy. By the time the video ended, several people were crying. Others were on their phones. The journalist was recording everything. Vanessa stood frozen on stage. Her face had gone from white to gray. She looked like she was going to be sick. Dominic looked like a man watching his entire world collapse in real time. Maya turned to face them both. "You didn't just cheat on me, Dominic. You chose her. Every single day. You gaslit me into accepting her presence in our lives. You moved her into our home while I was sick. Sick because she was poisoning me. You prioritized her over your children's safety. You brought a woman who tried to murder me into our house, into our children's lives." Her voice didn't shake, didn't waver. "She tried to kill me, frame me for a crime I didn't commit, steal my children, and you let her, because I reminded you of struggle, and she reminded you of success, because you were embarrassed by the woman who sacrificed everything to build you into who you are." She turned to Vanessa. "And you wanted my life so badly you were willing to kill for it. You studied me, copied me, tried to become me, but here's what you didn't understand. You can't steal someone's life. You can't wear their skin and become them. You're nothing but a cheap copy, a counterfeit, and everyone here now sees exactly what you are." Federal Agent Torres stepped onto the stage. "Vanessa Chin, you're under arrest for attempted murder, embezzlement, fraud, and identity theft." Vanessa tried to run, actually tried to bolt off the stage, but 2 security guards caught her, pulled her arms behind her back, handcuffed her. She was screaming, thrashing, "This is fake. She fabricated all of this. She's crazy. Dominic, tell them. Tell them I would never. Dominic, please." But Dominic said nothing. He just stood there, destroyed. The guards dragged Vanessa off the stage. The crowd was in chaos. Phones out, cameras flashing, people talking over each other. Maya stood at the microphone, calm in the center of the storm. She looked out at the crowd, at all these powerful people, and she said one more thing. "I wanted you all to see this, to witness it, because for months, I've been told I'm crazy, paranoid, unstable, that I'm imagining things, that I need medication, that I'm the problem, and I want everyone here to understand something. When a woman tells you something is wrong, when she tells you she's in danger, when she asks for help, believe her. Because I almost died because no one would listen. The room was completely silent now. My 7-year-old daughter saved my life. She recorded that video because she knew something was wrong even when all the adults around her were too blind to see it. A child had more sense than a room full of educated, successful people. She let that sink in. To everyone who watched my husband parade his mistress around and said nothing, who pitied me or judged me or thought I should just accept it quietly, you were complicit. You enabled this. You chose comfort over truth. And I hope you remember that. Maya stepped away from the microphone, walked off the stage. Marcus, Sarah, and Rachel followed. Behind her, she could hear Dominic calling her name. Maya. Maya, wait. Please. She didn't turn around. She walked out of that ballroom with her head high, got into Marcus's car, and drove away. She picked up her children from her mother's house, held them both tight. It's over, she told them. She's never going to hurt us again. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Vanessa was formally charged with attempted murder in the first degree, embezzlement of over $2 million, fraud, identity theft, and endangering minors. Her bail was set at $5 million. She couldn't make it. She sat in county jail awaiting trial. The trial took 4 months. The evidence was overwhelming. The videos, the audio, the toxicology report, the financial forensics. Emma's iPad recording played in open court. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge, an older woman with steel gray hair and no patience for nonsense, looked at Vanessa with pure disgust. Ms. Chun, you attempted to murder a woman in her own home. You poisoned her slowly and methodically. You framed her for crimes she didn't commit. You targeted her children. You did all of this out of greed and obsession. You are a danger to society. Vanessa was sentenced to 18 to 22 years in state prison, eligible for parole in 15. When the sentence was read, Vanessa didn't cry, didn't react. She just sat there, blank, empty. Maya watched from the gallery, felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Dominic's fall was slower but just as complete. The scandal destroyed Chin Technologies. The video from the gala had gone viral. Millions of views. News outlets picked it up. Business Insider, TechCrunch, even mainstream news. Investors pulled out. The board of directors held an emergency meeting. They voted unanimously to remove Dominic as CEO. We cannot have leadership associated with this level of scandal and poor judgment, the board chair said in a public statement. Mr. Chen's personal choices have compromised the integrity and reputation of this company. Dominic was forced to sell his shares to cover legal fees and the divorce settlement. The company was sold 6 months later to a larger tech conglomerate for a fraction of what it had been worth. The divorce was swift and brutal. Sarah Kim, Maya's attorney, was ruthless. Your client brought an attempted murderer into the family home, she told Dominic's legal team. He moved her in while his wife was hospitalized. He ignored his wife's concerns. He gaslit her. He chose his mistress over his children's safety. The prenup is voided. We're asking for 70% of assets, full physical custody, and substantial ongoing support. Dominic's lawyers tried to fight, but the evidence was too damning. The public opinion too strong. The judge too unimpressed. Maya was awarded the house, 60% of all remaining assets after legal fees and company liquidation, full physical custody of Emma and Liam, child support, and alimony. Dominic was granted supervised visitation only, 2 hours per week, at a family visitation center, supervised by a social worker. The twins had been asked gently and through a child psychologist about their feelings. Emma had said, "I don't feel safe with Daddy's choices. He picked the bad lady over us." Liam had said, "Daddy didn't protect Mommy. He should have protected her." That was all the judge needed to hear. In the end, Dominic lost everything that mattered. His company, his reputation, his fortune, his family. He moved into a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood he would have never looked at twice in his previous life. Drove a used sedan. Got a job as a consultant making a fraction of what he used to earn. His parents stopped speaking to him. His friends disappeared. His whole world, built on success and status, crumbled when those things were taken away. And the twins. The twins were polite during visitation, but distant. They'd answer his questions, accept his gifts. But there was no warmth, no connection. He'd burned that bridge, and there was no rebuilding it. Family, I want to pause here for just a moment. If you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, if you believe in justice and accountability and the truth finally coming to light, hit that like button. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And comment I'm with you, Mr. Hearthline, because we're almost at the end. And I need you to see where Maya is now. I need you to see what thriving looks like. 2 years later, it's a Saturday morning in October. The kind of morning where the air smells like autumn, like possibility. Maya is standing on the sideline of a soccer field. The grass is freshly cut. There's a concession stand nearby selling hot chocolate and cinnamon donuts. Parents chatting. Kids laughing. Emma just scored a goal. She's jumping up and down, ponytail bouncing, pure joy on her face. Her teammates swarm her. The coach is clapping. Maya is cheering. Loud and proud and so full of love her chest aches with it. Liam is playing defense on the other team. Focused. Determined. He blocks a shot and pumps his fist. Maya's life looks nothing like it did 2 years ago. She sold the house. Too many bad memories. Too much pain soaked into those walls. She bought a smaller place. For bedrooms. A yard. A neighborhood with actual neighbors who knew each other's names. It felt like home in a way that $6 million mansion never had. She'd taken the money from the divorce and done something she'd been dreaming about for 15 years. She opened her design firm, M. Chun Interiors, the LLC that Vanessa had tried to use to destroy her. Maya had rebuilt into something real. Started small. A website. A few clients. Word of mouth. But Maya was talented. Really talented. And she'd been suppressing that talent for a decade. Once she let it out, once she allowed herself to create again, it was like something unlocked inside her. Within 6 months, she had a waiting list. Within a year, she was featured in a major design magazine. Within 18 months, she had to hire 2 junior designers to keep up with demand. She loved it, loved the work, loved building something that was entirely hers. Loved the clients who trusted her with their spaces and their dreams. The scandal had made her famous in a way she'd never wanted. But she turned that notoriety into opportunity. She became a symbol. The woman who'd survived. Who'd fought back. Who'd won. She did a TED Talk about trusting yourself when everyone tells you you're wrong. It went viral. 2 million views. She wrote an essay for a women's magazine about rebuilding after betrayal. It was shared thousands of times. She didn't set out to be an inspiration. She just told her truth. And people responded. The twins were healing. Hadn't been easy. They'd been in therapy since the trial. Processing the trauma. The fear. The confusion of loving a father who'd made such terrible choices. But they were resilient. Kids are. Emma was back to her bubbly, talkative self. Doing well in school. Making art. Playing soccer. She still had nightmares sometimes. Still asked questions about why Miss Vanessa had been so mean. But she was okay. She was going to be okay. Liam had opened up more in therapy than Maya had ever seen. He was still quiet. That was his nature. But he smiled more. Laughed more. He'd stopped carrying the weight of worrying about his mother. They saw Dominic every week for their supervised visits. It was awkward. Strained. But the therapist said it was important for them to maintain some relationship with their father if they wanted to. Emma had told Maya once, "I don't hate Daddy. I'm just sad about who he is." That about summed it up. A man approached Maya on the sidelines, carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Maya. "Oat milk latte, extra cinnamon," he said. "Just how you like it." Marcus Rivers, the private investigator who'd saved her life. Who'd believed her when no one else would. Over the past 2 years, he'd become something more. Started slowly, professionally at first. He'd check in after the trial. Make sure she was okay. Make sure Vanessa was staying in prison. Make sure Dominic wasn't violating the custody agreement. Then the check-ins became coffee meetings. Then dinners. Then weekend trips to the beach with the twins. Marcus was patient. He never pushed. Never rushed. He understood that Maya needed time. Needed to heal. Needed to remember who she was outside of trauma and survival. But he was there. Steady. Kind. Present. The twins adored him. He taught Liam how to fix bikes. Taught Emma how to cook pancakes. Showed up to every soccer game and school play. He didn't try to replace Dominic. He just tried to be someone safe. Someone trustworthy. Someone who showed up. And slowly, carefully, Maya's heart opened again. They weren't rushing anything. Weren't labeling it. Just spending time together. Seeing where it went. But when Marcus looked at her, she saw something Dominic had stopped seeing years ago. He saw her. Really saw her. The whole person. Not just what she could do for him or what role she could play. But Maya. Complex and strong and still healing and worthy of love. Thank you, Maya said, taking the coffee. Their fingers brushed. Something warm passed between them. Emma scored another goal. Maya cheered so loud she nearly spilled her coffee. Marcus laughed. That deep, genuine laugh that made her smile every time. Across the parking lot, a familiar car pulled up. A modest sedan. Dominic. He was here for his Saturday visit with the twins. It was supervised, but lately the social worker had been allowing him to come to public events. Soccer games. School functions. As long as Maya consented and the kids felt safe. Dominic got out of his car. He looked older. Tired. The past 2 years had aged him in ways money used to hide. He saw Maya. Saw Marcus standing beside her. Something crossed his face. Regret maybe, or just the recognition of everything he'd lost. He walked over slowly, kept a respectful distance. Hi Maya. Hi Marcus. Dominic, Maya said. Polite. Neutral. Kids are doing great, Dominic said, watching the field. Emma's really good. She is. She's been practicing. An awkward silence. I'm proud of what you've built, Dominic said quietly. The business. Your firm. I saw the article in Architectural Digest. It's really impressive. Thank you. I'm sorry, Dominic said, and Maya could hear that he meant it. For all of it. For not seeing what was happening. For choosing so poorly. For hurting you and the kids. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I need you to know I see it now. What I did. What I lost. Maya looked at him. This man she'd loved for 15 years. Who'd broken her heart. Who'd nearly gotten her killed through his willful blindness. She felt nothing. Not anger. Not pain. Not even pity. Just nothing. I hope you've learned something, she said. I hope you're becoming someone better. Not for me. For Emma and Liam. They deserve a father who makes good choices. I'm trying, Dominic said. That's all you can do. The game ended. Emma and Liam came running over. Sweaty and happy. They hugged Maya first. Then Marcus. Then, more hesitantly, Dominic. You coming to lunch with us, Dad? Liam asked. The supervised visits sometimes included a meal now. Progress. If that's okay with everyone, Dominic said, looking at Maya. It's okay with me if it's okay with them. Emma and Liam nodded. They all walked to the parking lot together. Maya and Marcus in one direction with the twins. Dominic following in his car to meet them at the restaurant. As they drove, Emma asked from the back seat, Mommy, are you happy? Maya looked at her daughter in the rearview mirror. Yes, baby. I really am. Good. You deserve to be happy. So do you, sweetheart? Are you happy? Emma thought about it. Then nodded. Yeah. I think I am. Liam reached over and held his sister's hand. Maya caught Marcus's eye. He smiled at her. And she realized it was true. She was happy. Not in a perfect, uncomplicated way. She still had hard days. Still had moments where the trauma caught up with her. Still had nightmares sometimes. But she was free. She was safe. She was building a life on her own terms. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living. Family, let me tell you what this story is really about. Because it's not about revenge. It's not even about justice, though justice was served. It's about choosing yourself. For 10 years, Maya chose Dominic. Chose the marriage. Chose sacrifice. Chose to believe in a promise that kept getting postponed. And when he stopped choosing her, when he betrayed her in the worst possible way, she had a decision to make. She could have stayed. Could have accepted the arrangement. Could have let fear of the unknown keep her trapped in a situation that was slowly killing her. But she chose herself. Chose her dignity. Chose her truth. Chose her children. Chose to fight for her life even when it would have been easier to give up. And family, that's what I need you to hear today. If you're in a situation where you're constantly sacrificing and getting nothing in return. If you're being gaslit into believing you're the problem. If you're waiting for someone to keep a promise they made years ago. If you feel invisible to someone who swore they'd always see you. Choose yourself. Not out of bitterness. Not out of revenge. But out of love. Love for yourself. Love for the life you deserve. Love for the future that's waiting for you on the other side of this pain. Because here's what I know for certain, family. Grace is more powerful than revenge. Every single time. Maya didn't destroy Dominic. She didn't have to. His own choices did that. She just stepped out of the way and let the consequences happen. Dignity defeats cruelty. Maya could have screamed and raged and fallen apart. Instead, she stood on that stage with her head high and told the truth calmly. And that truth was more devastating than any tantrum could have been. Your instincts are right. If something feels wrong, if someone is making you feel crazy for questioning them, if you sense danger that no one else seems to see, trust yourself. Maya knew something was wrong long before she had proof. And that knowing saved her life. Children see truth. Emma and Liam knew Vanessa was dangerous before any adult would listen. They saw through the performance. If a child is telling you something is wrong, believe them. It's never too late to reclaim your life. Maya was 35, married for 10 years, hadn't worked in her field in almost a decade. She could have believed she'd missed her chance. Instead, she built something beautiful from the ashes. And finally, family, you deserve a love that chooses you back. Not a love that makes you earn it. Not a love that keeps you waiting. Not a love that treats you like an obligation. A love that sees you, values you, and chooses you every single day. Maya found that. Not immediately. Not without healing first. But she found it. And it looks like Marcus bringing her coffee and showing up to soccer games and being patient while she remembered how to trust again. You can find it too. But first, you have to choose yourself. Now family, if this story has touched you, if it's shown you something you needed to see, I need you to do something for me. Hit that subscribe button right now, because I'm going to keep telling stories like this. Stories about people who survive, who fight back, who reclaim their power, who choose themselves, and you need to be here for them. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's waiting for permission to leave. Someone who thinks they're crazy. Someone who's being told to just keep sacrificing. Send it to them. Tell them they're not alone. And comment where you're watching from. I want to know my family is all over this world. From every corner, every country, every circumstance. Comment your city, your story, or just type "I'm with you, Mr. Hearthline." Let me know you're here. Let me know this message landed. 'Cause family, we're building something here. A community of people who believe in truth, in dignity, in choosing ourselves, in rising after we fall, in grace and strength and second chances. You are seen. You are valued. You are never, ever alone. And you are worthy of a love that sees you, chooses you, and honors you. My beautiful family, I'm blessing you today. I'm blessing you with the courage to walk away from anything that diminishes you, with the wisdom to recognize counterfeits and cheap imitations of love, with the faith that on the other side of your darkest valley, there is light, there is life, there is possibility, there is love. I'm blessing you with the strength to choose yourself, even when it's terrifying, even when everyone is telling you to stay, even when the unknown feels more dangerous than the pain you know. I'm blessing you with the peace that comes from living in your truth, from refusing to shrink, from taking up space, from saying no to anything that poisons your peace. I'm blessing you with discernment, the ability to see people clearly, to trust your instincts, to recognize danger even when it comes dressed in apologies and gifts and promises. And I'm blessing you with hope, the bone-deep knowledge that it's never too late, that you can rebuild, that your story isn't over, that the best chapters might still be unwritten. You are stronger than you know. You are more valuable than anyone has told you. And you are deserving of every good thing this life has to offer. Don't settle for crumbs when you deserve a feast. Don't accept poison when you deserve nourishment. Don't stay small when you were made to rise. Choose yourself, family. Choose your peace. Choose your joy. Choose your life. Until next time, I'm Mr. Hearthline, and I'll see you in the next story. Be blessed. Be brave. Be free.